Hello everybody and welcome back to Farming Simulator 25. Welcome back to the NEXAT Pack preview, if you will. And welcome back to Waseco. I'm sure I butcher that every single time. Any rate, this is a really cool map that is in testing with Giants. Hopefully we'll see it release early next week so you guys can enjoy the NEXAT Pack on it for those of you that are picking it up. Today we're going to use the entirety, well, within reason, the entirety of the NEXAT Pack on this very field. I'm going to basically show you how you can use the entire ecosystem to do everything from harvest to harvest. So we are going to be harvesting our soybeans. Then we are going to be cultivating and fertilizing our field with digestate. Then we are going to be planting probably sunflowers or corn in this field just for funsies sake. And then we're going to weed our field with the NEXAT. We're going to spray our field with liquid fertilizer with our NEXAT. And then we are going to harvest our field again with the NEXAT. And we're going to talk about some things about the ecosystem, why it's an interesting concept, kind of the core of what NEXAT is looking to do as far as the company and why they've designed this carrier vehicle and have companies that are basically building modules for it. And I can confirm right now, I'll just confirm right now that any field you harvest with the NEXAT harvest module and header will give you 10% bonus over what you would have gotten with a standard harvester. 10%. And I'm going to tell you about a test that I ran earlier today, and we're going to talk about that during our stream tonight as we use this field as an example. The reason I believe we get a small bonus, 10%, with the NEXAT harvesting is because with the NEXAT, we have no way of rolling our field. So if you only ever use the NEXAT ecosystem on a field, it will always say need rolling. And to that end, that's only going to give us at a max 97.5% yield bonus. So we're down 2.5% of our 10% bonus right there. As we're going to see, as we continue to use our NEXAT Pack equipment on this field, is that we're going to be leaving tram lines when we plant. Okay, we're not going to be planting where our wheels are. We're going to be planting between our wheels. Well, over the course of the entirety of the field, that's going to add up a little bit. I tested this system on Field 3 on Riverbend Springs. It's a field that's exactly 1 hectare in size. And let me give you my results. Okay, I got standard yield. And this was with wheat. Standard yield at 100% yield bonus was 17,948 liters of wheat using a standard harvester. When I reset the field and I used the NEXAT to harvest that same field with that same 100% bonus, I got 19,744 liters. That's a 10% bonus. Okay, when I used the entirety of the NEXAT Pack to harvest the field, fertilize the field, cultivate the field, seed the field, weed the field, and spray the field, and then harvest the field again, okay, the field was set at 97% yield bonus because I couldn't roll the field. I got 18,400 liters. I got more than the base harvester, but less than my 10% yield. If you calculate it, it's approximately 2.5% over baseline. If you figure that we're 2.5% down to begin with, then we're 5% less yield as a result of those tram lines. So that's why I think we're getting a yield bonus of 10%. We're getting a little bit of a compensation for the fact that this system is going to be leaving tram lines, and therefore there's going to be a portion of the field that's just flat out unharvestable. And that's the whole concept of the NEXAT to begin with, is that we are always driving over the same tracks, and therefore we're only ever compacting part of the field which isn't being used for agriculture. The part of the field that we are actually growing our crops on is never really compressed by the machinery, and therefore we should have optimal yield from those areas of the field. And since we have very narrow tracks, very wide working area, I think they claim a 5%, I think maybe, portion of the field that's actually non-used for growing. I didn't mess with the straw because I didn't have time. But I expect the mechanics for the yield bonus is going to be the same as the mechanics for the yield bonus with the MacDon swather. And I'm pretty sure we've seen the swather gives you more straw than the non-swath. So I would expect the swath would also give you a little bit of a bonus. But I didn't actually try the straw because I wasn't going to mess with that. Plowed, line, remove stones, seeded, vert, rolled, no negative statuses. And it has 100% vert. Mulch. You would have had to have had a previous field in order to get the mulching. I honestly don't remember because I honestly don't pay too much to the whole 100% bonus. So I really honestly don't know if we get mulching on mowing. I know mowing gives us a fertilized state. Yeah, it would be mulching. So while I'm filling this thing up and while we're unloading this thing into our trailer, let's once again kind of cover what is in the NEXAT pack and how it all connects. So at the heart of the NEXAT, we have the carrier module. That's the powered piece of machinery. Has 2 engines, 1100 horsepower, and a 15 meter basically length. 15 plus meter length once you factor in the cab. You're going to use the carrier module to connect to various other things, and then other things are going to connect to those other modules. Okay, so for example, if you wish to spray herbicide or liquid fertilizer, you're going to take the carrier module and you're going to connect it directly to the sprayer module. That's what we see up there, the top left of this infographic. If you wish to fertilize and cultivate with slurry, then you're going to be able to connect the carrier module to the slurry tank. And then connect to the slurry tank, you're going to connect the distributor / cultivator. So that's a 3-step process. Carrier to tank, tank to cultivator. If you wish to plant, well, it gets a little bit complicated here. Your carrier module is going to connect to a seed hopper tank. The seed hopper tank will hold seed and solid fertilizer. From that point, there are multiple things that can connect to the seed hopper tank. We can connect a planter in the Vaterstad tempo. We can connect a seeder with the Inspire. We can connect a cultivator with the Carrier NX. Or we could connect the cultivator and the planter, or the cultivator and the seeder. After we have seeded, we're going to keep the seed hopper tank connected, because if we're going to use the weeder, the hoe that's included, which is going to be good for medium weeds or small weeds, we're going to connect that to the seed hopper, which is already connected to the carrier module. And then at that point, we're going to talk about the harvesting. And that's what we show here with our field, is we're going to use a harvest module, and we're going to connect that to the carrier. And then there are 2 header options. Both are Gearinghoff headers. One is going to be this flex header for grain, and the other is going to be for your row crops like corn and sunflowers. And we'll talk about kind of a quick hack methodology with respect to connecting and disconnecting this stuff easily once we get done this field. And I have used, to build out a shed for this pack, I've used the base game Easy Shed, Hay Shed. Okay, I've used this shed, and I basically put 4 of them down, because under here I have all of the modules kind of laid out for easy connect and disconnect. Yeah, Joel, I knew the screen overlay was up. I was looking at it. All you missed was me driving the semi, unloading the grain, and getting back into the NEXAT. The NEXAT Pack is, of course, part of the Year 1 Season Pass. That is going to release on Tuesday of next week. We also have 2 more packs, Performance on the Plains and Prairies and the Stars Align, and then an expansion in Q4 of this year, which is likely going to be a UK style map and probably a good hunk of machinery from that general area of the world as well. Which leads me to a theory that was put on last night's live stream. If you want to go check that post out, I pinned it, and I'm basically going to read what it said here once we get turned around. But this guy's got a pretty interesting theory as to what could be packs 2 and 3. I'd like to know what your all's thoughts are on if that came to fruition. What would you think? So, he says, for Performance on the Plains and Prairies, he expects it to be US and Canada equipment with Versatile tractors. We know Giants visited Versatile in 2024. If Giant's licenses for Bergalt and Big Bud are still valid, then quite possibly those brands could also be associated with this pack. With respect to the stars aligning, it's been rumored that Giants and Mercedes have been talking and working together. If this truly is the case, then the stars align could be a Mercedes pack, if you will. A Mercedes Unimog and other tractors from the Mercedes brands, which have been rather popular as mods in previous farm sims, and potentially even Mercedes trucks coming to the game. So if Performance on the Prairies is indeed versatile and other large machinery, Great Plains is poorly represented with respect to that brand. So Performance on the Plains and Prairies has Great Plains in its name, after all. Thank you for joining the channel and becoming a Farm Baron Midwest farmer. Which leads me to, this video is brought to you by Charlie Farmer and Old Man Gaming 5150. Thank you for being Farm Barons. So, like I said, Great Plains I feel is poorly represented currently in the game, which may be a strategy in its own right because of additional machinery being planned for a DLC. So I feel if those two thoughts are accurate, that it might make the Year 1 Season Pass one of the most desirable Season Passes we've seen from Giants to date. So we'll have to see what could come out of that. But all that is speculation. We'll know very soon, though, within the next 3 months, because Q2 is going to be April, May, and June. We know coming in Q2 we have the second DLC. We also have Precision Farming. So that's going to be another exciting release in the next couple months. Possibly Bluebird, possibly. There is a new Big Bud in the works. I think a company's acquired the rights to the brand, is maybe trying to bring it back, is kind of how I understood it. Also remember, all of these DLCs take years in the making. Right? This stuff doesn't just come together in the course of a weekend or a month or even 6 months. So Giants visiting Versatile in 2024 could mean that we wouldn't maybe see more fruit from that until the second year Season Pass even. Midwest Farmer, thank you. Thank you very much. I tried to put it behind me and not fester on it, but I have known to fester on things. All right, so we're almost done here. Like I said, we're now going to hook up to our slurry tanker and our digestate machine, our cultivator applicator. And we're going to cultivate this field. We're also going to give ourselves a first layer of fertilization. And at that point, you're going to start seeing where those tram lines are going to be showing up. It would be nice, David. It would be nice. But what's interesting about the NEXAT is the GPS is based off of the carrier, not off of the implement. Okay, so our lines are technically going to be the same throughout all of our use today. Because you will see when we harvested, the harvester was extending beyond the front wheels. So it's working with is 15.2 meters. Meanwhile, most of the other stuff is working with is sub 15 meters. So most of the other stuff's working with is within the wheels, whereas our header is outside the wheels. When I did a corn harvest last night, or when I did a corn harvest on my demo video. Last night it wasn't right because I was using that other header with a different width. Right? I harvested most of that field with that other header. Chad, thank you for the 5 gifted memberships. Be lucky. You remember Travis S., Delilah, Greg, and my base, I think. Sorry, my eyes are a little blurry right now. Thank you all for becoming members. All right, we need to unload our harvest module before we can fold it up. The demo video. So you see we do have crop destruction enabled. Ah, well. There you go. That should be it. No more sirens. Alright, so why I like this shed and I think it's ideal for storing our NEXAT stuff is the way we're going to put it away. We're going to fold this up and go into road mode. And we're going to drive into our shed. Like I said, I just put 4 of these together. And now we're going to change into work mode. Putting this semi here really messed me up. All right, so we're going to detach our header. We're going to detach our harvest module. We're just going to ignore that. We're going to shift back into road mode. We're gonna back up. And we're going to shift back. We're not quite lined up. It's all good. We're just gonna hold. Oh! Let's use the auto connect. And you know what they say about demos? How things don't work and you demo it. It all started because I couldn't put this over wide enough. Then we pulled it back up. Trust me, the next time we do this, it'll be a lot better. Like I said, that truck really messed me up. And then shift back into work mode. Let me also fill this thing up. Alright, while that's running, let's jump to the shop real quick and do a rundown. So yesterday I showed you go to mods and DLCs, the NEXAT Pack, or you could come down here to miscellaneous. And under miscellaneous we have the NEXAT. We have the carrier module, $655,000. So it's not cheap, but think of it, it's the only powered vehicle you need, other than a truck to unload it. Right, and now we're using the slurry module, $275,000, 30,000 liters, and the Toric NX 1400 cultivator applicator for nearly $200,000. After we cultivate and fertilize our field with digestate or slurry, we're going to use the seed hopper. We're going to load it with seed and fertilizer. And then we're going to use our Tempo NX to probably put down sunflowers or corn. But we could also connect it to the Inspire NX seeder, 13.5 meter working width. Or we could connect it, and we can connect it to the Carrier NX cultivator, right? So seed hopper and cultivate, seed hopper, cultivate and seed, or seed hopper, cultivate and plant. Once we're done, we're going to leave the seed hopper connected, and we're going to connect to our ChopStar Max, which is going to be our hoe. We're going to weed our field with that. And then once we're done with that, we're going to disconnect our seed hopper and connect our sprayer so we can come through with our liquid fertilizer and put a second set of fertilizer on our field. Of course, we could fertilize our field when we seeded or planted as well. Or we could have used, instead of the hoe, we could use the sprayer to put herbicide on the field. Really, whichever and however you want to do it. I believe the Carrier NX is 24 tons. Mike, that's great to hear. Hope you start your farming career soon and enjoy it. So if we come back here, we can see, yeah, the base module is 24 tons. The slurry tanker is an additional 15 tons. Our cultivator is 6 tons, right? Our seed hopper is 6.5. Cultivator's 8, 5.3, 6.5 on our planter, 5 tons on our seeder, on our weeder, 11 tons on our sprayer before we put 22,000 liters worth of liquid in it. And then we're going to harvest with our Nexo harvest module, 32,500 liters of tank capacity, 14 tons. And then we have the 2 Gearinghoff headers, the Extreme Flex Razor 50 foot for our grains, and our Patriot Rotodisc for our corn and sunflowers. What? Well, I thought I was locked in, but oh well. How's the steering? Well, we have several different ways of steering. I'll show you here when we get to the end of the row. Basically, we have rear steer, all-wheel steer, or front steer in work mode. And then in transport mode, we just have all-wheel steer. We're going to be... The headers definitely flex. Alright, so here, this is what's called rear steer. You can see, depending on which direction you turn, the rear wheel kicks out approximately 90 degrees, and then the opposing wheel kind of turns slightly. Pretty good turning radius. And then we control Y, we go to all-wheel steer, and you'll see the inside wheels flip to a 45-degree angle, while the outside wheels turn slightly. And then we have front steer, which is a little weird because the front wheel turns 90 degrees, kind of like the rear wheel. The rear steer is the default. Lonnie, thank you for the $5 super chat. Walk in. And then this module, we can actually we can unfold and swing out our pipe, right? Like we're going to be drawing material into this tank from another tank. X to fold it back. Joel, you'll have to talk to the folks that put out Pumps and Hoses, Creative Mesh. Remember, that was a third-party DLC. So that would be up to them to bring that back. So you can start to see the tram lines start to show up. These are going to be areas where we haven't really cultivated our field. And when it comes time to planting, well, we're going to find that our crops aren't going to grow there because we didn't put any crops down there. The pickup header of what? I don't know. I haven't tried. Supposedly the harvest headers connect to other harvesters. So I would think things that connect to other harvesters could possibly connect to this. But I haven't really tried. We can try a little bit later. When buying things in the shop, always buy the last thing you're going to connect first and basically acquire things in reverse order. I mean, it's going to look awful weird, but let's see. Doesn't look like it. Uh-oh, now we done it. Uh-oh. Now we done it. Now, I think the swather gave you a greater bonus than the NEXAT did anyway. So you would, in essence, be getting less of a bonus by using the NEXAT if that header could connect. So we talked about in the pre-show about the fact that the NEXAT Harvest module gives you a 10% yield bonus. Okay, so if you harvest any field with the NEXAT pack, you're going to get a 10% bonus over what you would have gotten with a traditional harvester. And I did a test earlier today to see and basically if you worked an entire field like we're working this field tonight, from harvest with the NEXAT, cultivate and fertilize like we're doing here, plant or seed, weed, spray, and harvest. You're not going to get 100% yield bonus, you're going to get 97.5% because there's no mechanism to roll the field unless you come out and roll the field with something else. But in theory, if you're using the NEXAT as the entire ecosystem, you're wanting to avoid driving on the field with anything else. So you likely wouldn't be bringing a tractor out to drive on the field with a roller. In that scenario, I saw a 2.5% yield bonus on the second harvest at 97% yield. And you may think, well, I got 10% before, but now you only get 2.5%. What happened to the other 7.5%? Well, 2.5% is because we didn't have a roll. The other 5% was because of the tram lines that this system creates. So we lose some aspect of the field to tram lines. So I feel that the 10% yield bonus that the NEXAT gives you is in compensation for the tram line creation. At least that's what I'm working off of. Swather head doesn't give you the 10%, the 25%. Well, I guess the swather head would. No. I don't think the swather head gives you the extra 25%. I think what gives you the extra 25% is when you use the MacDon and the cutter. Because you get a specific fill type in, let's say, wheat swath. Right? It's not just wheat. It's wheat swath. So I feel that wheat swath is coated with a greater yield than wheat. So the head doesn't give you anything magic. But I guess you would get 25% plus 10% if it would connect. What's up, crazy boy Don? How's it going? Right, so our field, right, we are in a stubble tillage state. And we have our 1 level of fertilization. We also have a mulch state because we spread our chaff out. We're need rolling, so the best we can do is get 97.5% yield bonus. Radical Chaos. I could give a shit if anybody buys it. Quite honestly, I could give a shit. What I'm doing is I'm showing it off. So you, Radical Chaos, and everyone else can make an informed decision, right? Shouldn't people make informed decisions as opposed to uninformed decisions? So you can make an informed decision as to if you wish to buy it. If you don't wish to buy it, that's fine. I've yet to mention one bit that the pinned link in chat is to an affiliate link. I would get credit if you bought it through my affiliate link. Yes, I would. But I've not mentioned that yet. Thank you for letting me mention it, though. So those on PC that would like to buy this, if you haven't already, or if you don't have the Year 1 Season Pass, you can use the affiliate link pinned at the top or in the description. If you're on console, then you need to get it through your respective platforms. If you're on Steam and you want to pick it up through Steam, that's fine. But do note that the eShop copy from the affiliate link will work with any PC install. But at the heart of it, it's making the informed decision. It's showing this off so you guys can decide if it's worth it for you. I can't tell you if it's worth it for you. Only you can make that decision. I mean, you could do the headlands if you wanted. I'm just making this... I'm just doing straight paths. I think you'll see why once we get some headlands showing, or some tram lines showing up. And we can swing our cab, right? What view do you want? So to do that, you're going to left, right mouse click, hold both down, and go left and right. I need to check something. I might have a mod installed. I see it says allow create fields. I may have a mod though that does that. Yep, I got it. Okay, that's not. So allow create fields is not a function of this. That's a mod I got. No, blue butterfly. The GPS is set by the wheel width of the vehicle on purpose to form those tram lines. That is part of the ecosystem. So if you go look at the NEXAT website, they cover very heavily the aspects of the benefits of using the single carrier for the purpose of having those tram lines and controlling soil compaction. So there's a reason that this is within the wheels and the planters within the wheels, the weeders within the wheels. It'll all be apparent here in a little bit. Jimmy freaking... I wasn't on the right thing. Damn it. That's fine, I'll turn around. It handled the field I harvested yesterday fairly well. So yesterday we harvested this field, and this field's got a bow to it, but of course the harvester does have flex on it. Well, I mean, right, we are applying slurry to 13.5 meters worth of field. Oh, what's up? Thanks for dropping by. I think there's a mod out now in 25 that does that. So let's go to work drive mode. I call it drive mode. And I think Joel asked how drive mode steered. So it's all-wheel steer. It's a little weird because the whole vehicle kicks left and right. But it does have a pretty good turning radius as a result, for being something so big. We're going to come up here. We're going to deposit our cultivating module. We're going to deposit our slurry tank. We're going to shift again. Jeffrey, I hope you enjoy it. There's some interesting rumors about what might be included in Pack 2 and 3. We talked about it a little bit earlier. It'll be interesting to see how those really play out. Let's do sunflowers. And back to work mode. EF Spot Gaming, what's up? Genetic J, I hope you like it. I mean, you might like that Polish map that dropped the end of last week. Alright, off we go. Oh, how far are you in on the temple? Two years left. Oh, there, the little fans. Right, there's animations on the little fans. So when we make our way back, not so much over here on the left because it's not the right width, but when we make our way back connecting to this row, you'll see that we're not planting where our tires are. That's going to be unplanted. So those are going to be the tram lines. I would like to have orchards, fruit orchards, that aren't just placeables. I would like to have nuts, you know, so we can have base game 3 shakers. Oh, did I mention traffic on this map is like ludicrous? Ludicrous speed. So if we jump out of here, right, we have corn, we have sunflowers planted. We have nothing on our tires. And then we have our sunflowers again. You never know, we also have probably 2 expansions before the next farm sim, if we assume that they're going to keep to a 3-year cycle. So we know the first expansion is going to be something UK-ish. But who knows what year 2 might bring. What's annoying? The fact that there's nothing planted where the tires are, that's intended. So while that's running, let's pull up the NEXAT website. Right, so here we have the NEXAT. Start the revolution. Yada yada yada, yada yada yada. Right, news, information. Yada yada yada. The system. So a traditional farming, right? We have multiple vehicles, multiple connection points, different working widths across all of these. But the NEXAT, you have one vehicle and one connection point, and all of these things connect to those. And here, 60 to 80% of the land is driven on tires, whereas with the NEXAT, less than 5% of the land is driven on, because only these narrow lanes are driven on, as opposed to various working widths, different tire widths, etc. So that's kind of the concept of the system. And the website goes into other things related to kind of the benefits of not driving over the land that you are basically trying to grow crops on. So, growing area remains permanently unused. Wide span, traffic farming, drive, blah, 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 right lower. And then each of these kind of talks about it. As far as the benefits of the ecosystem overall. So it's worth checking out the website just to get a little bit more familiar with respect to how the system works, the concept behind the system. All right, catch you later, David. Farmhouse Forever, what's up, sir? This is a little big for you, right? A little bigger kit than you're used to. I wonder if this fan... we can't get close enough to see it. Oh, we also have cool animations on the top of this. I can guarantee you I don't have 300 hours on Riverbend Springs. Oh man, I wonder how long this thing would take to refuel. I just thought of that. So 3 more passes will be done this field with our seeding, and then we will advance the day and come back and weed. And once we advance the day, you'll really see those tram lines start to show up. The buildable cabin. You come over here to constructibles, this one. It's a farmhouse. I'll show it if I catch it in chat. Sometimes I don't see it in chat. Ice fishing. What do you catch when you ice fish? Yeah, there's lots of cool farmhouses up there and other buildings. I've got a whole video on the various. Right, there's 1, 2 little silo house. Right, there's 5 farmhouses, and then there's different buildings you can build. Farm buildings. And then, of course, you have your where are they at? Where are the other ones? Then you have those little sheds, but they're mostly useless. Now, we only have the planter and seed hopper here, but I could have connected the cultivator and the planter and the seed hopper all together. And we could have completely not used the digestate and the cultivator with it. So we could have went straight from harvest to this setup with the cultivator and cultivated, planted, and fertilized and seeded basically all in one pass. I just broke it up so that we use more of the kit. Sleep. Oh, nope, we don't want to do that one. Jeez, let's get rid of this fog. So while that shifts gears, right, we got horrible weeds here in our field. There's our tram. So we're going to cycle out over to our weeder. And we're going to cheat. We're just going to hold down the O button as we get closer here. And it's going to self-align by holding the O. This is... That's what this map is, right? I'm horrible. Horrible with names. Yeah. Waseca County, Minnesota. That's the name of the map. It's Minnesota. So it is with Giants for testing. So hopefully we'll see this released early next week. So now we are weeding. Right? Because the weeder connects to the seed hopper, which connects to the carrier. And you see those tram lines now really showing up. I usually turn weeding off, but I just have it on, obviously, to demonstrate this stuff. I definitely have stones turned off. Yeah, I know. I've been told before, but you don't understand with me. Names in and out 1 year. Like in 10 minutes, I will not know how to say it. It goes back to elementary school and my inability to basically spell anything right. Like, it's not that I don't care, it's just it doesn't stay in the head. So in elementary school, right, you have spelling tests. I would sit for literally hours writing the words, learning the words, and for 20 minutes after doing that, I could spell all the words. An hour later, nope. Completely out of the head. I usually leave lime on. It's not that big a deal. It's like you lime after every 2 or 3 harvests. Motion, it can't do anything that everything else can't do. It's an ecosystem. So it's more or less the ecosystem and what the ecosystem stands for, if you want to say. It's the NEXAT ecosystem of using one carrier vehicle as opposed to having multiple tractors multiple wheel configurations, multiple working widths, driving over the field multiple times at different widths, compacting soil. With this, you're only driving on the field where these tires are, because everything fits within the carrier. So you've got 14 meters basically of uncompacted soil, and maybe half a meter on either side of compacted soil that never actually grows crop, in theory. Yeah, Chad, it wouldn't work. It wouldn't work. I could write every word down 100 times every day, and I would know how to spell it for no more than 30 minutes after I did that. It's like words you either did know or you would never learn. Motion Man, it does give you a 10% yield bonus if you harvest a traditional field with the system. But if you use the entire system, your yield bonus is lower because of, one, this can't roll. So if you're using the entire ecosystem, in theory, you're not going to have a tractor. You're not going to drive on the field with a roller, because that's somewhat defeating the concept of the ecosystem. It has a 56 meter spray boom. So let's see. Sprayers. Where are they at? $33, $40, $36, $54. $56. So 56 meter spray boom, widest in the game. Uh, 15.2 meter headers, 30,000 liter, 32,000 liter grain tank, 20,500 liter seed and fertilizer tank. It will cultivate and seed. It will cultivate and plant at the same time. Spraying with herbicide. But maybe that's only with precision farming, which we don't have yet. That's why precision farming had spot spraying. Are you freaking serious? Hey, school bus, I wouldn't be back here if you didn't have cars running 1,000 miles an hour down the road. No. All DLCs are locked behind DRM. So the only time folks would possibly get access to these files for modding would be either to deliberately break the DRM, which violates copyright laws in all civilized countries, or the next release of Farm Sim have this kit be part of the base equipment. Or, if it's not part of the base equipment, have Giants release it as a mod or a content update in a future game. Yeah, Jeffrey, I can talk about that now. So there was a comment in last night's live stream because we talked about these hints. What could performance on the prairies and plains be, and what could the stars align mean? Right, those are the hints for Q2 and Q3. And remember, the hint for Q1 was innovative machinery. Okay, so a working concept is that performance on the plains and prairies could be a US or North America pack, basically US and Canada, with versatile tractors, or possibly more Bergolt equipment, or possibly more Big Bud equipment. Or other brands like Great Plains. We only have one little Great Plains planter or seeder. So that could be performance on the plains and prairies. The stars align. Let's go back. The reason versatile is thought about is because it's, I don't know where it's documented, but supposedly Giants went and visited Versatile in 2024. So a year ago, they were with Versatile doing something. Now we know that DLCs often take years to develop. So it could be that Versatile is coming in 2026 DLC. But anyway, the stars align could be Mercedes. So it's rumored that Giants and Mercedes are in discussions, or have been in discussions in the past. And if that's possible, the stars align could be Mercedes. I guess the emblem, the three-pointed logo, I don't know, you want to call it a star. So possibly the Unimog, possibly Mercedes trucks, or other types of vehicles could come to the game in Q3, if that's what the stars align means. Oh, I forgot to go back and catch that little bit. Oh well. A little strip over there we forgot to get. Versatile, yeah, had some stuff in 22, had stuff in 19 also. They are missing so far from 25. And as I mentioned, Great Plains is poorly represented with just this one cedar. Right? Its only real claim is that it's base game cedar. And in 22, it was just a big tractor. Right? Versatile has other tractors. Right? They got a full fleet. Yeah, it was a bummer. Like, Oxbow had a banner there, but I didn't see a single piece of Oxbow equipment. Yeah, the big GEA stuff. We see those. I see those locally, often pulled by Fendt tractors. We have a dealer just north of us that deals in Fendt and Kloss. Saw them the other day. I was driving through town, a town I typically don't go through. All right, so 2 more passes and then we're going to spray. And that'll take this to 100% fertilization. There, we'll turn off the lime needed. But, let's see, do we have any base game no-till planters? So the Missouri is no-till. And the Kinsey's no-till. Kinsey's wider, 18.2 meters. So the NEXAT does basically offer no-till planting. Motion man. But overall, packs, right? So our 3 packs, our DLCs in Q1, Q2, and Q3, are packs. They're going to be machinery and vehicles typically. They're not going to make any major changes to, are you serious? I'm high centered on this. They're not going to make any major changes to gameplay or implement new features so much. Not on a pack. You may have things like we had the fast bale, which offered non-stop round baling and wrapping, right? But it wasn't transformative. It didn't change how the game played. It didn't add anything new per se. In 17, you had the Kubota pack, not the Kubota, the Kuhn pack, which offered a square bale wrapper, right? The wrapper that's now in game here. That was the first time you could ever wrap square bales. This one. So this was introduced as a DLC in 17 when this brand Coon was added to the game. So first time you could wrap square bales. Didn't really transform the game, but added functionality we didn't have before. Anderson DLC brought us the sausage wrappers, right? It didn't really transform things. It just added a little bit. So packs typically are to introduce a brand and their machinery, but nothing real transformative. Expansions, the annual expansion, like Q4, right? So we had the Platinum expansion and the Premium expansion. We had Silver Run Forest, Forestry, which really extended forestry gameplay. We had the Premium expansion, which brought us, depending on how excited you were, various root vegetables and ways to plant and harvest those. So expansions are more transformative than packs, because a expansion will bring in something new gameplay wise, typically above and beyond simply a map and equipment. May, June, and July. No, April, May, and June. So a quarter is 3 months. So January, February, March is Q1. April, May, June is Q2. July, August, September is Q3. October, November, December is Q4. So we can expect Prairie and Prain sometime between April 1st and June 30th. And it was interesting to that extent. I found it interesting that there were some naysayers. They're like, don't you find it interesting? It's almost the end of February and we haven't seen the DLC yet. Where's the DLC? It's like, you got a whole another month. Q1's not over for another, it's halfway through Q1. What are you getting at? What's up, Neil? Alright, so we have now weeded. It's all good, Chad. Somebody didn't know. And maybe somebody was too embarrassed to ask. So again, these sheds, these are just the easy sheds, the hay building. I thought it would make a good storage building for this stuff. Now we're going to turn around. Pick up our spray module. This one's interesting because as soon as you get the cab up here, it swings out of the way. It's like, whoa, we can't be running into that. Some days, some days are no, stop. Oh my God, wrong buttons. The world is ending. Oh my God. You get to see the good and the bad. All right. Traffic is annoying. Spread this guy's wings. So we're 56 meters. You can see if we go down this second set of trams, second row, we're doing a row and a half on either side, right? And we have variable spray width, so we could come in here and we could turn off, wrong side. We could turn off a boom, right? Like we don't have overspray now on the left. And we could turn that back on. So we have that. We can raise and lower the boom, left click. As you can see, the boom does have some flex. It will attempt to conform to the land, as with other booms in the game. It's not that things never go wrong, right? It's how you recover from when things go wrong. I'm not getting hung up on things. So now we're going to basically skip and then come down this row. Now, since this is picking up a working width of 56 meters, we have to shift the center line over. And I really am not that adept at this. I'm going the wrong way, I guess. I don't think that's still enough. Virtual Farmer had some information on how to do that. I've never been good with offsets. But I figure if you're going to be spraying 56 meters wide, then you're probably not going to have to go up and down the field too much anyway. Clear these trees. Oh, there we go. And we will do that. Well, you never know, Keith. You never know, because, well, there's incentives, right? I mean, you look at all those big farm tubers that are for free using $750,000 worth of harvester because it's advertising. And if you go from having a dedicated harvester that's $750,000 and its header, which is kind of the same, you need a header for either, so that's kind of nulls that out. But if you go from having a harvester and, let's say, probably at least 2 other tractors for all of your other field work to a single carrier, then, I mean, it might be that the math works out. Alright, I really don't know what the hell's going on with that, but... time will tell, definitely. Time will tell. I mean, they have some pretty good It's already been reported, Jeffrey. It's already been reported. I've seen posts in the partner Discord on it. Yeah, it's been in the States for testing for a couple years now. They've got some pretty big backing by some pretty big industry partners. But yeah, time will tell as to if the supposed benefits of this system and the compaction and the yield benefits and all of that really pan out. Over traditional farming methods. So I'm holding down O to auto connect basically. And now we gotta go to the other side and get our header. I did find I couldn't get rid of this propane tank on this farm. Oh, no, I don't want to do that. Alright, so we just need to fast forward time till we're ready to harvest. Tell you what, these ditches, well, they be, it starts with a V. And it has to deal with itches. Let's go forward a few months. We have our field that's fully fertilized. Oh, I don't know how long it takes. All right. Yep, so we have the 97% yield bonus, and that's because we can't roll with the system. Unless we use a different tractor. I hope we don't have a Minnesota winter. All right, April it is. We can get pretty dry. I'm not in Southern Virginia, but close enough. What's he grow? All right, ready to harvest. Alright, let's unfold this whole bad boy. One final time for the night. And off we go, and we have come full circle with respect to our harvest, right? So when we started the stream, we were harvesting soybeans in this field with the grain header. We then switched over to the slurry tanker and cultivator to fertilize the field and cultivate it. We didn't have to do that step because we could have attached a cultivator to the seed tanker and the planter and cultivated and planted and fertilized all at the same time. We then attached our seed hopper and our planter. We put down sunflowers. We came around with the seed hopper and the hoe and weeded. We then came around with the sprayer module and sprayed our second set of fertilizer. We could, of course, have done that by putting fertilizer in our seed hopper with the slurry. And now we are once again attached with our harvest module, and this time the Gearinghoff corn and sunflower header. And we are now harvesting our sunflowers in April in the snow, because that's Minnesota. But you can see now the concept of the tram lines are kind of there. This being a weird camera angle, you can move the cab by left click, right click, hold down both mouse buttons, left and right. I mean, in theory, if you match up these cones directly in front of you, then the rest of the stuff will be lined up too. And that's the ecosystem. That was what we set out to show off tonight. We don't really need to get this whole field harvested. We pretty much showed the whole system off from harvest to harvest. We don't need to use anything other than the NEXAT pack in the NEXAT ecosystem. I put a link to the website earlier. I'm going to put that back up just for folks to go check out if you want to learn a bit more about the actual system. Then you can go and check that out. It's kind of an interesting concept, right? How much and how well will it be received industry-wide, both in Europe and in North America, is something yet to be seen. But it's cool. It was something really, really requested back when this thing kind of first broke the news. I feel like it was FS19 back then. A lot of people were interested. Kind of as soon as folks heard about it, it's like, we need that in Farm Sim. Giants heard you. And Giants started working with NEXAT to bring it to Farm Sim. Like I said, not all things happen quickly. So it took a couple years to basically get everything lined up for the NEXAT pack to make its way into the game in FS25 as the first DLC in the Year 1 Season Pass. So if you own the Season Pass, you already have it. If you don't own the Season Pass, you can pick it up, the Season Pass, or you could pick up the DLC individually. Currently there's $1 off. If you pre-order it between now and launch, it's going to launch on March 11th, next Tuesday. Feel free to use my affiliate link down in the description for either the NEXAT pack or the Year 1 Season Pass. If you are a console player, then you're going to need to basically pick it up via your store. If you're on Steam, you may choose to pick it up the eShop, or you may pick it up via Steam. Either way, the goal of the stream is that you understand how the kit works and you make a decision as to if the kit is worth it for you. And with that, I'm going to close out for the night. I'm not decided. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to stream this tomorrow night or not, or if I'm going to be back over on the second channel during our American Truck Simulator Convoy night. We're definitely going to be live streaming this on Monday night, though. Monday night would typically be our launch party if this DLC releases at midnight CET on March 11th. That means that it will be available for those of us in North America the evening of March 10th. It would be available before we go live on March the 10th. So I will have a multiplayer server set up, and those who have it at that point in time will be able to join and basically give your feedback to viewers as to what you think of the pack. We'll be doing things just like this, probably over on the horse map, unless this map happens to drop on Monday as well. Until next time, happy farming.